Well, Bob Iger, Disney CEO, has clapped back at Florida man, Governor Ron DeSantis. These statements are very, very stupid and shows just a flailing business, basically. So Bob Iger calls Governor Ron DeSantis not only anti-business but anti-Florida. Because Disney now don't have special privileges. Well, how did all the other businesses get by, Bob? Come on, Bobby. Bob. How did the other businesses get by in Florida? What are you talking about? Also, not only that, it's not Ron DeSantis that is, firing 7,000 people. Some of them, obviously, Floridians. It's you, Bob Iger. So anyway, these are always hilarious. This came out basically during an annual shareholder meeting, which took place yesterday. And yeah, quite shocking, to be fair, some of the comments that were made. So this is an article by Deadline. It says, calling moves by Governor Ron DeSantis anti-business and anti-Florida, Bob Iger showed today that he isn't afraid of a street brawl with the likely GOP presidential hopeful. But it's really dumb what you're doing here. What you're doing is really dumb, Bob. You're picking a fight with someone that can absolutely wreck your business. You landed yourself in when you hired individuals like Victoria Alonso, who had such an issue with politics. I mean, this is the situation. It's a business versus politics. Now, obviously, they do coincide, but they shouldn't intertwine as much as they do. So he says, we love the state of Florida, the Disney CEO said at the annual shareholder meeting. By the way, just make no mistake, this is all just because they want to show strength. That's it. They don't have any strength. We respect and appreciate what the state has done for us, but it's been a two-way street. Well, yeah, I mean, you need employees, buddy, obviously. That's literally it. But you can't say, well, we appreciate what he's done for us. What you have, Reedy Creek, is unprecedented. So, Bob Iger basically opened with this video, standing relaxed and debonair in front of Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. The CEO took a few benign swipes at DeSantis' attempts to strip Disney of long-held jurisdictional rights in the Orlando area. This has always been one of my favourite spots, Iger said, noting that it used to be remote swampland before Disney stepped in. Thanks to those who dare to dream, he added. I'm so proud of Disney legacy in Central Florida and around the world. And look, you know what? There's obviously beneficial things which they have brought to the area. Like, absolutely, unequivocally. No one is disputing that. But what you are very easily disputable on is your current situation, your current, I guess, direction that you're going in versus where you started. They're two polar opposite things, mate. And you can appreciate what they have done and also condemn what they're doing. But during a Q&A with shareholders, Iger stepped right up to the political plate and took a big swing. A company has a right to freedom of speech just like an individual does. Do they? Do they actually? I mean, you do have freedom of speech, but again, as everyone constantly says, you don't have freedom of consequence or freedom from consequence of your speech. So, and this is all to do with Disney's criticism of what was dubbed the Don't Say Gay law, which wasn't that anyway. It was just don't teach inappropriate things on any spectrum of sexuality to people that can't comprehend it. It's perfectly reasonable. Like, actually, perfectly reasonable. I don't see the issue. And as a company that fixates on children, you should probably want to protect those children's innocence for as long as possible. Because, they literally make you money, you dickhead. So acknowledging that the company's response under previous chief executive Bob Chapek wasn't handed as artfully as it could have been. Or handled, I presume that's what it means. The past and present chief hit back at the Florida governor with some of the GOP's own talking points. DeSantis retaliates against us in effect to punish a company for exercising its constitutional right. And that seems really wrong to me. You don't... No, it doesn't. Because again, just like you binned off Gina Carano, for instance, for incredibly benign statements. And as everyone says, yeah, freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequence. It's the same situation here. You can't have it one way and not the other. Come on. So he later noted that diversity is a real priority for us and expressed his desire that Disney continue to create content that promotes greater understanding, greater acceptance. And yet, statistically speaking, this is the truth, acceptance is actually on the decline. So you push it more and more and more and more and more, and then acceptance has now been on the decline? So acceptance, at one point, was its highest. Now, it's going down. What does that tell you? What's changed? People don't like stuff shoved down their throats consistently. They just don't. Bob Iger also drilled down on what Disney has meant to Florida, noting that some 50 million visitors will come through our gates this year, about 8 million from outside the US, and we are the biggest taxpayers in the state. Well, actually, you could be paying more tax. And we're planning to invest thousands of indirect jobs and even more tax revenue. Our point is that any action that thwarts those efforts simply to retaliate against the position the company took sounds not only anti-business, but anti-Florida. No, it doesn't. You just own it. It's the consequences of your actions. You speak nonsense, you get slam dunked. Basically. Oh, dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, because they've been trying to fight this amongst themselves. You know, and sort of there's been an independent board that's now been superseded. So, you know, they're sort of just combating one another. But make no mistake, I don't think DeSantis is someone to, you know, to sort of criticize and push back on too much, because he's someone which does actually take action. And this is what I mean. I do think that something will happen with this. Massively, in fact. But never mind. We'll sort of see what happens, I guess. But there you have it, ladies and gents. Yeah, anti-Florida. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Disney should never have stepped up to the political plate like it did. At all. So DeSantis neutralised the law about it all. Disney Reedy Creek board. And then they just sort of decided to try and supersede it. So there you have it, ladies and gents. I thought I'd just bring this real quick. There were some other bits and pieces in this meeting, but it's kind of all a bit by the by, really. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. This won't go anywhere, and it won't go anywhere primarily because that, you know, DeSantis isn't someone to mess around with. He will take action. He has taken action. And Bob Iger can't really do anything. They can't really do anything. You know, this is simply for the shareholders. It's a show of strength for the shareholders because their shares are not great at the moment. So it's for that. It's to bolster share prices, which is pretty dumb anyway. But like I said, let me know what you think. Cheers, guys. Take care.